He's a dad with a beard and a big old heart, raising tiny tornadoes, tearing things apart, laughing through the mess and the midnight cries, with an angel watching from the sky. It's the fatherless dad, 2 kids, 1 plan, just doing his best, like every real man.
Alright guys, so we're going to talk about the first 3 months. This is what I like to call the survive and strategize phase, because those first 3 months, let me tell you, they are raw, they are beautiful, and they're brutal. But here's the truth, you don't have to wing it. Think of your home as a battlefield with only a few key zones you need to secure, and today we're locking down the most important one. Baby Station Alpha. Baby Station A, Ground Zero. This is where everything is that you will need. This is where your diapers will stay. This is where your wipes will stay. This is where, if you have formula, this is where you'll keep your formula. This started out as a shelf in my house, and it eventually upgraded to its own cupboard. And inside, this is where we had like overstock of diapers, overstock of wipes, overstock diaper rash cream. And this is where we kept our baby Brezza. This is where we kept our sterilizer, all the nipples, extra pacifiers. And anytime we needed to get something for our child, we knew where it was. It was in Baby Station Alpha. That's where you started. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is probably the most essential thing we have for staying organized, especially during the first 3 months. I call it the Momma Cart. It is named after the beautiful person who thought of it, my wife. So the Momma Cart, it was my wife's brilliant idea, okay? She came up with it. It was on Pinterest. It was great. Into exactly what you need to have. But essentially, this cart lived in our living room. And whenever something happened, you knew you needed the cart. And as long as that cart was stocked, you knew you were going to have a good day. And it was my wife's idea, and I give her full credit. But keeping that thing stocked and locked, now that was my job. And that's a job I took very seriously, and one I did very well. It was my mission to make sure that that cart was stocked every night in what I would call the close. But we'll get into that. So you have a 3-tier cart that lived wherever the action is. Okay, for us, that was our living room. But it could be wherever you need it most in your home. And on the top layer, we had diapers, creams, wipes, Tylenol, thermometer. We had the little booger sucker. We had the nail files. We had pacifiers, socks, mittens, and then hanging off the side, we had bibs. There was also a spot for my wife's water. There was also nipple cream and nipple covers. And then you had on the middle layer, you had extra pajamas, burp cloths, and then you also had swaddles. And then on the bottom level, well, that's where my wife's breast pump was. There was a travel change pad, and there were extra bottles for her pumping. And we knew that as long as that Momma Cart was stocked, whenever something happened, we just reached for that. And again, it's all about saving time when there is no time. And let me tell you, there are times where my kids have puked on things, and I have responded so fast that what they threw up on didn't even get wet. The next spot we're going to talk about is the to-go station. So this is usually a diaper bag. The to-go station, inside you're going to want to make sure you have your diapers. Now, when you're thinking about diapers, my rule of thumb is 1 diaper for every hour you're going to be out. If you're going to be out for 8 hours, bring 8 diapers. Maybe bring 9. You won't be upset with having extra. You will always wish you had more. The other thing in this diaper bag, we want to have a travel package of wipes. We want to have an extra outfit. We want to have a to-go diaper cream, to-go pacifiers. Bring 3 of them. And then we also want to make sure that there's a toy that your child really likes. Now, try to make this not an MVP toy, and usually something that's a bit cheaper that you don't mind could possibly get lost, destroyed. So, why does all this matter? Why do we care about Baby Station Alpha, the Momma Cart, the to-go bag? Why do we care about that sort of stuff? And I'll tell you, it changes your parenting. It transforms you from reactive and makes you proactive. Yes, those spills are still going to happen. Yes, those throw-ups are still going to happen. But now you have a plan. You have a system. You have a way of dealing with everything that gets thrown at you. And it's within arm's reach. Because again, it's all about saving time when there is no time. And owning those 3 areas will greatly improve your wife's experience. This is a way we could contribute. We couldn't carry the child for 9 months, but we can stock a Momma Cart. Okay? I could stock a diaper bag. I can make sure Baby Station Alpha is ready to go. So how do we do this, right? So my method for getting this done was all about what I would call the close. After my kids go to bed, I would take 20 minutes and I would close my house. And I would do this before I had my beer, before I had my smoke, before I did anything else I wanted to do. After my kids go to bed, I took 20 minutes and I just double checked Baby Station Alpha. I double checked the Momma Cart. I double checked the diaper bag. And once those 3 things are stocked, I now move on to honestly what I thought was a lot more fun of a chore. I don't know how this ended up being a chore. What I do next is I would set up the toys for my kids the next day. And cleaning up those toys and setting them up is it made me feel very good. You know, I got to relive some of those child memories, trying to think, oh, you know what, maybe if I set the toy up like this and like this, they'll really find it fun. And truly they do. It's a lot better than them coming down to a mess or leaving it all for your partner to do. After our kids go to bed, we always reset the house back to how it's going to be for the next morning. So my wife would go and she would take care of the kitchen, and I would take care of the living room where the children were. And this kind of teamwork really builds a great relationship. You know, because it's a lot easier for your partner to take on those dishes day in and day out if they see you in the other room putting in similar work. And let me tell you, setting up toys is awesome. You get to really set up the way your kids are going to play for the next day. And now we're going to get into kids playing. 3 months, your baby is usually more alert and more engaged, and somehow more demanding. So 3 months in, your Momma Cart, Baby Station Alpha, they're holding strong. We've got this by now. 3 months in, this is old news. We've got this under our belt. But now we're going to add play zones and mental stimulation. I want to talk to you about toy rotation. So when we first started, I had a big basket and we would throw all their toys in there, and I thought my kids would be so happy with a big chest full of toys that they could play with. The problem is that the toys on the bottom of that chest never got played with. And I remember one day I pulled out a toy from the bottom and my child had reacted as if they'd never seen this toy before. did some research, and I learned that the Montessori, they said that they want you to rotate your toys and not to give them as much. So we took them from one giant basket and we broke them down into, I think, 5 or 6 baskets. And that was great. The kids were enjoying it, but I couldn't help but notice that, there were some baskets that were just better than others. Some baskets were a lot more cool. They had a lot better toys. And the rotating of this didn't ever really make sense to me. It wasn't something I could wrap my mind around. If you're like us and your kids have way more toys than they need, then this is for you. So instead of breaking your toys down at random, we came up with the idea of themes. So I'm going to list 7 different themes that we use in our house. And what we do is every day or every 2 days, we set up a new theme. It's amazing. It keeps our kids engaged. They look forward to it. And it keeps us as parents organized. So my kids only have like a 1/7 of their toys out at a time, which makes cleanup a lot easier. So, some toy theme ideas. We had a day where it was just cars. Okay? Cars and trucks. We had all their dinky cars, their toy cars, their play sets, everything. Another one, little people. Little people sets, there's so many. But that was a day. Another one, puzzle day. All the blocks, all the little puzzle pieces, all the textile. Another day would be superheroes and Barbies. We would set up the Barbie dream house, and then on the other side it was Gotham City. Another option is art and music. So we had a day where it was just musical instruments. We had their painting, their easel, and all of these things. Another idea is Legos and blocks. Just a day, all of the Legos, all of your blocks. And then another one was is house. We bring in their little kitchen. They have a little vacuum, and we set that up. But every time we're setting up toys, there's a theme. And what it really does is, as parents, it gets you excited. It gets you involved. Because now you're thinking, okay, what are we going to do tomorrow? Instead of, oh, God, I got to clean this up. What am I going to do? Because just picking up toys and standing them up gets a little boring. Every night, this is what we're doing to clothes, guys. We're restocking the Momma Cart. We're checking the diaper bag. And we're double checking Baby Station Alpha. Once we've done those 3 things, we are now going downstairs and we're setting up those toys. And I like to really get creative with it. Sometimes if it's car day, I line up all the cars in a certain way. If it's Barbie day, sometimes I'll set the Barbies up so it looks like they're walking a dog. On Lego day, I pre-build a little bridge and I see how they will take it. But each time I get to add that bit of creativity. And dads, this is where it really hit home for me. So when I'm at work the next day, a lot of the time I don't get to see my kids play with these toys. But I know that while I'm at work, they're smiling because of something I did. And that is an amazing feeling. And guys, it only takes 20 minutes. Okay? Take 20 minutes to organize yourself. And it may think, what is 20 minutes? But what it gives you, those 20 minutes will give you hours of peace and joy. Because being a dad isn't about fixing. It's about creating a calm, creating a fun, creating safety. These are the things we do as dads when we lead with purpose. We show up, okay? Because we are not passengers on this ride. We are the fuel that keeps this car going. All right, fellas, when you take ownership of these areas, you're doing more than helping. You're building trust. You're easing your partner's load. You're showing up for your kids in a way that leaves a legacy. So do the work. Stock the cart. Rotate the toys. Close the house. Drop your own must-have items, routines, and other toy-themed comments. And let's build this fatherhood community together. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you don't miss the next episode. Next up, we're talking about dad playbooks. I'm talking strategies, routines. So I'm going to discuss what I call the flow chart of your baby crying. I'm going to give you guys a playbook on what to do when your kid is crying. Till then, guys, stay strong, stay loving, and stay ready. Peace out.
Till next time, my loyal friend. Keep it real and hold on tight. The fatherless dad says goodnight.